you have what I call a super skill. And I tell you about it and I thank you for it all the time. What is your super skill?
Really crisp high fives.
You are really good at those. You listen to me. You don't attempt to solve everything for me.
What?
Huh? No, really, it's when I'm navigating through something, you gift me the space of actually sitting and listening and hearing me through without feeling a need to do something to fix it in that moment. Not always. He's like smiling because he's like, not every time.
Yeah, it took me a while to, that was it. Naturally. And I would say we've had this conversation about, I think just, I don't mean to generalize, but in some ways, men desire to fix things. And it's just a natural inclination to like want to solve want to be the solution. And I think that's pretty habitual. And so, yeah, it took a little bit to get there, for sure. A lot of practice, a lot of ego balancing, because what guy doesn't want to step in and be a solution for the one they love? I mean, that's like, that's a romantic thought and feeling. It's like, oh, I just want to swoop in and be there for my love, which is a beautiful thing in and of itself, right? But it's no longer beautiful if that's not what's being asked. Then it becomes ego-driven, and it doesn't actually. Then we're actually creating a problem, not solving one. So it becomes the exact opposite of the desire behind it. So being able to pull back, be present, connect, and hear what's being said. In many ways, it's actually offering an opportunity for you to find your solution.
Yes.
Just to be a mirror, to hold space, to hear it out loud. Because oftentimes it is one thing in our head, but when we say it out loud, that's when it can kind of become that, they talk about brainstorm, but we always talk about heart storms. So it's like a natural heart storm to kind of hear yourself and flow through it. And also emotionally, allowing that space to not just get over it, but actually get through that and talking about it. And there's so many different ways to do that. But let's just say in this situation, just talking it through, that may be exactly what you need. And that is in and of itself a solution to the problem that you were seeking. And so instead of me placing what I feel like the solution could be, listening and understanding that you talking actually is the solution that you are seeking. That is compassion in motion, right?
Exactly.
That's me recognizing the suffering in you and the suffering in me because you're suffering. And then me adding a solution is only going to create more suffering,
Yes.
which then creates more suffering for me. So it becomes the opposite. So really pulling back, being present, holding space, and allowing the solution to unfold.
Yes. Which gets into the last movement or responsiveness or an action to help remove that suffering.
Right.
And so instead of being frozen, it doesn't have to be that heroic act. The most heroic act you made was getting out of that ego space of my suffering being, even though it was your suffering because it's shared, it wasn't about you. It was, how can I be there for you, for me, so that I can alleviate both of our suffering.
Right.
And so that required you to take a full step back, change behaviors, and then step back in and be like, okay, this is a small action or it seems small compared to what you had been trained would be the more action to take, right? So it seemed so small, but you took the time to observe what I really needed in the present moment. That was a huge action for me. Plus, it empowered me. And so when we feel helpless to alleviate someone else's suffering, maybe the step to take is that step back to observe, like you did and do on a regular basis, and say, okay, what I can do? What small step can I take? Because any step is going to be a step forward. And that small step may be the hugest step for that individual.